You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Oh, rebels. Oh, rebels, we are back for more debauchery. Are you even ready for all of this? I don't think you are. Holy cow, it's going to sound different, look different. It's going to be a crazy, crazy day. And it is going to be an absolute blast today. I hope you guys are ready, man. It is off the hook. And if you're in the area, you need to come down here and, get your ass whooped. So we'll talk more about that. There's plenty of sports debauchery to get into without a freaking doubt. Holy cow, there's no shortage of stories. And Moose, I'm used to sitting across from you, so it's going to be weird sitting next to you and staring at a camera, but we're going to have fun today. Off the hook. I hope you guys are ready. Technical difficulties and all, baby. We're going to get it in. This is DSR2. So without further ado, I am Scrappy. Here is your host, Johnny the Moose.
Hey, welcome to another edition of DSR2 on this glorious Wednesday here in the D. The storms are gone. It's nice and clear. Come on out to the Ann Arbor Ypsilanti Folding Warehouse, where we are doing our first live remote show of the season. So I want to say thank you to the Folding Warehouse and our host, Scott, Super Genius, Love, and Scotty Brown here for hosting us here at this wonderful location. So again, if you're in the area, stop on in, listen to us, have a couple cocktails, and learn how to bowl, and hopefully Scrappy will kick your ass here during the break time. So we've got lots here to talk about. Another crazy weekend here in the world of sports here. NFL action going on there. Tons of upsets. So again, if you're saying, "Oh yeah, I'm perfect and my pick'ems on there," you're a goddamn liar.
Yeah, I mean, the pick'ems have been a rough go this year. Moose, but we said it coming in this season that it was going to be like this. So, I mean, if you guys, even if you just, I think I said it last week or maybe in episode 1 of the season, even if you listen to our dumbasses, you knew this was coming.
Yes, because we're actually doing well. Yeah,
well, that's the scary thing, Moose, is that we're actually not doing so bad when it's really just I feel like I'm stabbing in the dark anymore, man, because anything could happen. We'll get into it because we have a weird plethora. We usually have a lot more undefeated teams at this point. Yes. There are only 2 games in, so you would think there would be a lot more undefeated teams than there are, but there are not. That we have ties already. It's already in a to-do, and we're going to break it all down, of course, this week. There's plenty of stuff to get into with NBA as well, and college football and everything here. But if you guys have not had a chance, you can see in the background, cats are foaling behind us here. Foaling, what's foaling? We'll explain foaling. We'll get the experts in here to explain foaling. And if you don't know about foaling, you'll find out about foaling. And guess what else you can do? You can bring your happy ass down here so we can beat your ass in foaling, because that's how we do it. So we got a few beverages. I got a cigar, though. It's not lit, and everybody's like, is that lit? Is that lit? Is that lit? You can't have that in here if it's lit. Well, obviously, but I'll chew on this thing. We'll have beverages. We'll have fun. As you can see behind us, a former co-host of the show, Scotty, is Super Genius back there, chucking some balls. And foaling is a fun game, so we'll talk a little bit more about that as we talk about other cats chucking balls. Whether it's baseballs or footballs, man, we got a great spread out here, guys. If you haven't seen our social media, we got a cool little spot where we're sitting. You can see, obviously, the backdrop looks amazing. We got, like, the biggest of all big screens right up here on the side. They got the merch thing up over here. I mean, this place is just immaculate. I love the tables. I love the setup here, Moose. Like, this place is cool.
Yes, it is. As you see, it's pretty loud on there. Yeah. We'll get into that. But again, how they got it set up and everything with it, tons of lanes here to get bowling out there. They have 2 full bars out there, one in the front, one in the back to get everybody going.
All right, we're getting some producer notes here.
And basically on how this came about here, this business venture. So again, it's a great sport out here. It's expanding out there.
It's
again, this
fun.
is one of a couple of here in the state of Michigan. The original Folding Warehouse is down in Hamtramck.
Yes, I've been to that venue, been there for their grand opening. Very cool. That's how I got introduced to the sport. and it's just a super fun game. If you haven't had a chance to play it, get on board. They even have now, you know how you can get like ladder ball and all that stuff for your yard? They have foaling for your backyard now.
Right.
And so that it is growing, but to have a place like this, it's just amazing. Amazing hosts having us here, and just a really cool setup. So big shout out to both Scotts and the folding warehouse here in Ypsi. Definitely better than bocce ball and Top Golf and all that goofy stuff. Guys, come here and have a good time. This is where it's at. I love their little merch thing they got going on the wall here, so you can see everything they have for you. I love the bar is amazing. It's all like, and we know Scott, so we knew the bar was going to be off the hook as far as selection and size. I can't put this place over enough. My first impressions when I walked in here was like, oh damn, like legit nice place, man. So they can accommodate your whole damn company, from what I can understand. What I've
I mean they've got them. So again, if you're having to work in the area out here in the Ypsilanti Ann Arbor area, and you're looking for a place to host any corporate events or your Christmas parties for working at, again, give them a call out there.
That's where it's at.
Definitely recommend coming out here to the Folding Warehouse on there. And again, even if you're having picnics in the summertime and you're having a huge gathering on there, guess what? They have folding out there, set it up for you, and then when they're all done, come out and take it up. So you don't even have to do anything more with it. So.
To me, that's the best part. They can come and set up in your yard, so you can do a family-friendly every event. I just fucking hate. Oh, excuse my language, but you know what happens. Podcast, we say whatever, and we're gonna say whatever because we get into from every aspect of sports moves. I don't even know where to go. We'll do a whip around here, guys, and the show's gonna look. When we take a break, we'll put the mics on, and we're gonna put a camera back here so you can see. And we're just gonna goof around, and we're gonna maybe get a game in. Hopefully, some of you guys have a set, and we'll come down here and challenge me. Damn you! And we'll play a game. But so it'll be a little bit of a different look show, but and pick'ems and all that stuff in there, Moose. But with all the stuff now, NBA teams being sold, we've got fired in the college ranks left and right. Possible scandals at every turn. A field that even stands up for itself anymore is the WNBA. LeBron finally embraced his inner bald man. Like, there's so much to talk about here, right? Man. Welcome to our side, mofo. So plenty to talk about, Moose. I don't even know where to start. Where do you want to roll with this thing? Where do we kick it?
Get into a little bit of the craziness of the college and everything with it. Basically is, again, college football going on there. Again, upsets in the city going on there as well with everything. And we actually had another college coach fired right at the beginning of the season. Herm Edwards got canned right after their loss to Eastern Michigan, which, again, we're in Ypsilanti, so go Eagles of the Huron out there.
Shout out to Juan Rivera. How's that happening over there on the East Coast, my brother? He's a Jersey, New York area, I think he's at now. So appreciate you hanging out with us. I know you can't make it down here to some Folan, but you also know I'd kick your ass if you did. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
All right, so again, Herm Edwards Arizona State loses to Eastern at home, and they basically called him into the end zone and fired him. Again, it's not just because of that, but there are some
that is epic
accusations and investigations going on, some improprietary with some sort of sexual misconduct, all sorts of other issues going on there at Arizona State.
Yes.
On there, so basically
it's going to get ugly.
It's going to get ugly.
And you know what? It's going to be so ugly that when they bring in Urban Meyer, he'll seem like,
I don't know who's going to bring him in first, Arizona State or Nebraska, because Nebraska, they were there during the
so they're trying to get a jump on that.
Oh, they're all calling out for Urban. We want Urban. But
oh my God, Pervin Liar! You want the Pervin Liar?
They're still delusional. They still think they should be playing for national championships every year.
Oh my gosh. What is this world coming to?
There's nothing, again, exciting about
pandemic
Lincoln.
And then this. No, I'm just kidding.
There is nothing exciting about Lincoln, Nebraska, okay?
No. You're
it's
right.
not sexy like, oh, I'm in, Texas, or I'm in Alabama, again, the history of Alabama, or coaching down in there in Miami at the U or USC. It's Lincoln, Nebraska.
Right.
It's
kind of like I went to Gary, Indiana, and I went on my social media and said, what's there to do in Gary, Indiana? And they're like, I don't know, go to Chicago. They're like, leave. There's nothing there.
There's nothing there. The
There's
only thing I knew
nothing.
about Gary, Indiana, it's the armpit of the Midwest.
And it is, and that's
On
coming
there.
from Detroiters.
Yes, we can make fun of Gary, Indiana. Why? Because they're even worse than us. On there, the only thing I remember is years and years ago. I mean, out there going to Gary, Indiana with former co-host Scotty Super Genius to try out for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and we had to do it at, of all places, the Trump Casino in Gary, Indiana.
Oh, jeez. Gary, Indiana could have it. He would put one in there. They
Well,
got enough
he
money
would-
there.
Well, again,
For
I
him?
don't think he owns it anymore because
Well,
it's probably
yeah.
one of his many bankruptcies.
Oh,
but-
sure. It's one of his 23 bankruptcies.
So,
yeah. Oh, sorry. We're bringing politics into sports, Moose. Shut up.
So
Okay,
we
moving
got
on.
down there basically is we go into again the college ranks and lots of upsets out there. I mean, who would have ever thought that frickin' Notre Dame would be 0-2? I mean, they're terrible on there, but it's crazy and everything with that out there.
Well, it's the way sports are right now, right? Because
Yes.
they're not putting in as much of the preseason stuff as they are the regular season. I don't know if college, if they're like dialing back, but like, you know, the regulations on what practices you could have with pads and this and that are all come to play. And I'm sorry, with you have cats that transfer the way they do and move around the way they do now, it's just going to be harder to have that cohesive unit. We talked about it, and this is more of an NFL thing, but the teams that have been together, that are guys that have been there for multiple years, that have had that same squad together for multiple years, they're the teams that are coming out of the gun firing.
Yes.
Because they're already ready already. Everybody else is behind the eight ball because you don't have all the OTAs and preseason and all that stuff that goes on. So I wonder if you're going to see some of that, like I said, with guys moving around and some of the regulations and rules changing on when you can practice and what you can do and all those other things. Is that going to play a part in college football as well?
I think it's going to play a huge part with it because you have coaches leaving one university to another, so they're switching teams back and forth. In the old days was that
Sure.
at least the players stayed there. Now you can transfer out and say, I'm going to the transfer. So again, that
that's-
coach leaves, he gets to pick the best players that's going with him.
Well, it's like the Pied Piper, right? Like you just leave and go, bap, 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 and all your players come with
Oh
you.
yeah, I mean, look, no, you don't have to look any further than USC. I mean, I
Right.
thought I knew USC was going to be one of those teams that's a hidden giant,
Right.
sleeping there, and I didn't expect it year one right off the bat.
Yeah, no.
They're on there. Now, again, keep whether or not they play any defense out there, it's Pac-12. We'll see about that. But yeah, you look at that, everything with it, and they look right now as one of the better teams out there. But like even Ohio State and Alabama have not looked all that great right out of the basket.
Right.
I mean, again, Ohio State, yeah, they beat up on Toledo, but they still gave up 21 points.
Right.
Alabama's not looked all that great.
Well,
I mean,
and Alabama's lucky to get away with the victory.
victory, especially at Texas after
Yeah,
on
was
there.
it 2 weeks ago? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just like the landscape is changing, and we're going to be talking a lot about that in college moving forward. And as we get closer to the playoff this year, and actually when we round out, you know what? I'm going to make a Scrappy Damas prediction right now. There'll be more college football talk after the playoff than there will be from now until the playoff, because they are going to blow up that TV contract.
Yep.
And all hell's going to break loose when that expansion comes a lot quicker than even we thought, Moose. Remember? We thought there's no way ESPN's going to let that contract go. There's no way they're going to say. So I'm still of the firm belief that the only reason that ESPN is willing to, back off of that contract is because they're going to get maybe an inside shot at getting some of these games.
Yes, and it's also you can't play in college football because again there was an independent auditor on there looking at this, and they said, and they went to the NCAA and they said, because you went with only 4 teams, you're leaving $40 billion on the table.
I know.
So
and
they said,
and they're like, and if you take that to a network and you say, dude, we left $40 billion on the table, let's break this contract, you'll still get the games that you wanted, you might even get better ones, and maybe more, but there'll definitely be more money involved, if nothing else.
Yes.
And so ESPN said, okay, well, if we're going to get more money, even if we still only get stuck with, we only get a game or two or whatever the hell it is, if we're going to get more money, we're down, right? So, okay, let's do it. We'll back off the contract. We won't stress it. We'll let you back out, and we'll as long as you're telling us on the sly, because it's got to be on the sly
Oh, of course
that you're going to give us that
But
money.
again, I don't think ESPN basically anticipated. It's like, Fox and CBS and NBC are all getting into it. They're like, no, we want a piece too.
Sure.
They're going to have to diversify this a little bit. It's not going to be all in one location. They're like, no, we're going to split this up,
Absolutely.
bump it up a little bit.
Absolutely.
You'll get this, and it may be where the championship game rotates between
I
all
guarantee
the other.
it. There's no way you're going to be able to do it without some kind of rotation because everybody's going to want their chunk of it.
Yes.
And so you're going to have a deal where, whatever it is for the next 5 years or 10 years, whatever the deal is they come up with, they'll have like a rotation of who's going to get what, when, and where. And then they'll just lock it in. But once again, just like we're proving here with this contract, if there's money involved, any contract can be broken. Let's be real about it.
Yes.
If there's a chance for more profit, all those contracts get thrown out the window. Now, we just figured with this one, why would ESPN want to give that up? But when you start hearing the numbers of how much money was left on the table, now you know why.
Yes. And now you know why the colleges are saying, the university are saying, no, we're going to look at this now.
Right.
Because we're going to get this all situated and settled now.
Sure.
With that. And that changes, again, that kind of money will change the whole game because we just seen what the Big Ten alone by doing this, their deals with CBS and NBC and Fox and the Big Ten were at work. That's an $8 billion contract just for the regular season.
Sure.
So these 16 teams are splitting literally like over $1 billion.
That's so crazy.
So they're literally getting $72 million before one ticket's sold.
And that's why it doesn't matter what kind of product they put on the field and those kinds of things, because they're making their money long before the games ever even are scheduled.
Yes.
And so that's why it's going to be an interesting play, like going forward when it comes to just everything, everybody, like, the coaches and the money and the players it's just going to be wild, dude. A wild, wild west for the players moving, the coaches moving, to NIL deals, to expanded playoffs, to TV contracts. It's going to be one of those things where, remember when the tournament, the NCAA tournament first started, like they put all the games on and they were all over the place and it was kind of chaos? I feel like that's kind of what you're going to get that first little bit. But once they settle in, this is going to be where it's at. The only problem is this is going to resemble the pros so much.
Oh, yeah.
How do you distinguish the difference?
It's basically, you're going to just pretty much is the old, the saying is the student athlete. Don't even stop.
Yeah.
Don't stop with that.
Stop it.
It's basically is their training ground for the NFL with it. And something we've always known now, it's basically but now is the players are at least getting a little piece of the pie.
Yeah, right.
And if you're a 5-star recruit, you're getting a little bit of better options. Say, okay, you know what, now I could stay in my 3 years, get my training, get a little paid on there. Sure. I'm okay. Then when I go to the pros, I'm better off with it, and I'm all set to go.
Right.
And then some of these cats might say, you know what, maybe I will stay for that 4th year and maybe get a chance for a national title because I'm already getting some money there, and I could stay those 4 years and everything with it. But yeah, you look at the craziness even with upsets in college basketball, football and everything, it's nuts. Yeah. As we said, Eastern Michigan going out to Arizona State, beating them at home.
Well, yeah, and that's how you get. I guess that's how you get fired on the spot, right?
Oh, that'll do it to you.
Yeah.
Again, I would almost say is Arkansas.
I don't want to. We're in Ypsilanti. I don't want to kill Eastern Michigan because they're right around the corner. They're like right down the street.
But yeah, you look at that program too for coming out of the MAC, and again they've come a long way. You go, okay, maybe they're a legit MAC program. Before it's like, okay, they're an afterthought, and it was terrible. Now you look at it, you go, okay, and again, as we say, the polling grounds, they actually are having promotions where they go out there at halftime at Eastern Michigan, and they'll basically just pick players, kids from the stands, and they come out there and play a couple games for prizes and so forth with it. So you got that. We would almost had another upset over here the weekend. Was Missouri State almost beat Arkansas. They were winning most of the game. And Arkansas came back and scored 2 touchdowns late and ended up winning that one.
And the referees saved the upset of probably the decade just a week or two ago.
Yeah, Texas beating Alabama.
Yeah,
and Bama should have lost that game. Yeah. That pass it, roughing the passer was a BS call. And again, if the quarterback from North Texas doesn't get hurt, they win that game. They do not. Absolutely. They beat Bama out there, and I'm not sold on that. But you got Missouri State, and again, I'm like, oh, look at this on there. Can't root for Missouri State. I know that I love the upset, but it's Bobby Petrino, and he's a scumbag.
I know.
And I'm like, nope, can't do it.
I'm
Nope,
telling
not
you.
going to do it. No.
It's hard, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, again, you got the SEC teams mouthing off about Michigan. Oh, you didn't play anybody. Like, dude, look in a mirror.
Right.
You play only 8 conference games. You play 4 non-conference, and you play a Division II school before you play your arch rival the week before. So don't give me that crap out there.
Well, and
again,
this is the part of college football that drives me nuts too, Moose, is I don't want to see, I want to see these non-conference schedules being tougher.
yes.
So what I'm hoping is with the new deal and with the new contracts and the new expansion, that it will be a little tougher. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah, if you win your conference, under you get an automatic bye, especially if you're in one of the 4 or 5 power conferences. But after that, they go back. Then you know what? They're gonna have to start looking. It's like, okay, who did you play in the non-conference?
yeah, because I don't even watch the first 4 weeks or 3 weeks of college because of it.
Oh yeah, I mean you
So-
get that rare Alabama, Texas, but you don't see that. Yeah, we had Michigan State go out to Washington on there. In Washington, took them to the woodshed. And again, I know they only won by 11. That game was nowhere near as close as what the score says.
Right.
I mean, Michigan State has the worst pass defense in the country. And
Yeah,
I'm not
it's
joking. I
bad.
mean, I'm not trying to be on
Yeah,
a
well,
slap,
yeah, right.
but that's
No.
real on here. They make Michael Penix basically look ungodly good under. And again, the kid had a great year his freshman year at Indiana, but he kind of regressed, got injured then. Now he's at Washington with his offensive coordinator who came from Indiana out there. What they happen on there. But yeah, if Michigan State's pass defense doesn't resemble any better, wait till they start playing Penn State and Michigan and
know.
Ohio
Yeah,
State.
yeah.
They're going to take them to they're going to score 50 burgers on them.
Right. Well, and Michigan's doing that already.
Yeah, but we
So-
don't know how good Michigan
Well,
is because
that's
they
what I'm
played
saying
nobody.
because they played nobody, and that's my point.
But they did what they did. I mean, they didn't come and say, "Oh, you're
Sure.
playing nobodies. We're going to."
Well,
No,
they still shut them out too. So I mean, to go fit, but still, and you have too many of those kinds of matchups, and that's what I don't like. That's why you see Michigan climb to 3 or whatever, and it's like, how do you know? And none of these polls, and this is all unofficial rankings anyway. So like for me, none of it matters until the official ones come out. It's all just eye candy for whoever.
yeah, not till you come out the end of October when they come out with that first, the playoff rankings. Then we'll really know on there. But Michigan, we won't know this week. Yeah.
I mean, how
well-
many 63-point games are on your board there, Moose? That is retarded. That's ridiculous, dude. What kind of booking is that? 63-7, 63-7,
77 is
63-6,
21.
77
59 nothing.
59. What is going on? Michigan did the same thing. 59-0. What is going on here, dude? None of that. That's nonsensical.
Yes.
This new playoff expansion's got to find a place to eliminate that kind of shit.
Yes, absolutely. And
'Cause
I'm looking-
that's crazy, man. I'm looking at your board over there, and I'm like, what in the? I don't have privy to that normally.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
we
mean,
sit
you
the
look
other
at
way.
honest, you look
at
under-
that. That's insane.
I mean, again, we had a guy, Washington and Michigan State. And I think Washington now is in the top 25. Michigan State's out. Texas A&M coming back. They had to win that game against Miami,
Right.
Because they had a bad loss to Appalachian State the week before. Jimbo is on a bit of the hot seat there, and
Sure.
yes, and Miami thought, oh, they're coming back.
You pump the brakes.
Pump the brakes a little bit. I mean, again, the U is not quite the U yet.
Right.
I know Cristobal is going to do whatever, but just pump the brakes a little bit out
Well,
there.
with the way this land, see, to me, nobody has a real grip on what all this NIL landscape's going to change as far as getting players and how the programs are going to evolve because of this. So, like, we haven't seen that evolution yet. So, you just don't know. I think you just don't know how it's going to play out. It could totally be different than what we think. And you could see teams that have been prominent drop and then vice versa.
Yes.
So
Everything's going a little bit of a cycle. But again, like this week, Michigan plays Maryland. We'll see how good Michigan's defense is because Maryland actually is pretty. They can move the ball, they can score some points, but when the bright lights are shining, Maryland folds like a house of cards. So we don't know. Following week,
We'll find
Michigan
out.
plays Iowa. We'll see how good the offense is against a pretty decent defense. We know Iowa can't score in a whorehouse. Plain and
Right.
simple. They've scored in their 2 weeks 14 points. 14 points is what they scored. 1 touchdown. The first week they won 7-3 because they had 2 safeties and a field goal.
It's funny because we're going to be saying some of these same words about some NFL teams later. So
They're terrible out there. So we look at that, everything with it. But yeah, you look at some of these out there, and again, there's a couple of schools out there that are 3-0 and 2-0 and everything with it. And again, one of them is a surprise. You know what? It's not a bit of a surprise because we saw it last year with how Kentucky basically became a pretty decent team in the SEC.
right.
With Mark Stoops. Now, and again, the key is how long Mark Stoops stays there because, again, they're talking about him going to possibly Nebraska. We'll see at that. But Oklahoma, he looks like pretty good out there. They beat the hell out of Nebraska. Nebraska ended up firing their defensive coordinator after they fired their head coach the week before. But Oklahoma,
Clean it house, baby.
Oklahoma looks like they've got some decent. It looks like they're playing a little bit of defense there with with Venable out there now, the head coach out there. So we look at that. Penn State looked pretty good going to Auburn. Now Auburn is not going to be Auburn like they were last year. They're not very good this year, but still going down there and beating them by nearly 30 is a big win.
Sure, yeah, yep.
Not that I think much of James Franklin. I still think he's a boob. But we'll look at that. And again, Ohio State's defense still looks soft. Yes, their offense looks like they can put up points in a hurry, but we'll see what their defense can get together because they still can't stop the run.
So, little split screen action, guys. You can see the foaling kind of going on in the background. Come on down, guys. I know it's a different look for you, different sound, different feel, but we're live at the Ypsilanti Folding Warehouse. If you guys are in the southeastern Michigan, Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti area, please come on down, hang out, have a few beers with us. I saw a couple of people wave at us over there earlier, so it's nice to see a couple people come in and say hello. So continue to do that. Come on through, come hang out, and you feel free. We got some seats out here in front of us if you want to come sit with us. We got the Tigers game on. I know that's probably no consolation to you unless you enjoy watching them get their asses handed to them. We can talk about them, but that'd be a waste of time.
Well, they do have a new manager, president of operations. So we'll see on there coming out of Frisco. Actually, he was one of with the Cubs on there with with the Epstein's. He was one of his Epstein's guys out there. So
there's some promise there. We'll see. I mean, one of those. It's kind of like, isn't that how we got like Dombrowski, right? Like nobody really. I mean, well, I guess he'd been at the Mariners.
He was president. He was
at the Mariners. Yeah.
Well, no, he was with the Marlins.
Marlins. Sorry.
He built Marlins into one. Marlins.
That's what I meant.
And then we got Hall. So we'll see on there, but it's going to be interesting there. And again, I think the kid. I don't know. Again, is he going to be the general manager and the president, or is he going to hire a general manager? We don't know yet. But again, at least he looks like a young, bright guy who actually left his hometown because he's from Frisco to come to Detroit. And that. So we'll see about how that works. Again, cut his teeth on being a scout and everything. Turned into a really good scout with it, and now he was general manager. And again, last year the Giants won 107 games. So we'll look at that.
Right. Yep. So anyway, but yeah, we're out here at the Folding Warehouse, guys. So please come hang out. It gets kind of loud in here, so every once in a while, especially if they blow the horn. And we'll explain that a little bit later.
We'll get into what a bonk is. You'll hear that. With that, maybe we'll hear some more of that on there. But yeah, it's been a little craziness out there. Right now, we know what.
They were asking what I was drinking.
Oh.
So I'm just showing it off here. I got I went with the it's kind of like a, I don't know, it's a hard cider. Yeah.
From from here locally from Blake's.
Yep, Blake's. It's actually pretty good. It says caramel apple on it, and it is absolutely delivered on that flavor. And I smashed it pretty quick for a guy who doesn't not a big drinker. And it was pretty good. So it gets my seal of approval. So if you're into those cider stuff, try those. I almost accidentally got a pumpkin one, and I'm so fucking glad I didn't. Pumpkin shit will make me throw up. But this is good. Anyway.
So, yep, I'm drinking the Saugatuck Bonfire Brown. Very nice, very tasty. Nice and on there, perfect on there. And again, would be actually even better to be drinking that outside yet tomorrow when it's only in the 60s. It's a perfect beer for that early fall season. Sitting by the campfire, sharing that, having a bourbon, having a cigar. So, yeah, it's a little craziness with college football and everything with there.
Yeah, without a doubt. So, and it's only going to get crazier as we go along, and these teams actually start playing other teams that matter. And so that'll be something to look forward to as we get into that. And like I said, I still stand by my Scrappy Damas prediction that we will have more NCAA football talk after the playoffs than we will even now before, because the expansion is coming, my friends. I'm telling you. All right. So before we get into our NFL blitz, because that's what it is, Moose. We go NFL crazy here. Everybody knows it. And Joey, Juan, Kevin, and Dave, thank you guys for hanging out, chiming in, and getting in on this thing. And I appreciate everybody that's come down here already and waved and said hello and hung out with us. And I appreciate all you guys in on the chat room. Let's get that text or in the social media. Let me get this text line up for you guys. I want to get you involved in on the conversation. I want to talk a little of well, let's get the elephant in the room situation here with what am I doing here? With our beloved NBA and how they've dealt with some of that situation. Hold on. 313-307-5340 is the text line, and I'm just struggling with some of the I'll get it up here in a second, but go ahead and keep rolling. Anyway.
All right, so yeah, the NBA owner is basically is the owner of the Philadelphia Suns the Phoenix Suns, and the Phoenix Mercury has agreed to sell both teams.
Okay, so
because he's kind of being forced to.
Well, because he's a racist clown. Okay,
yes.
He's a racist, and that's probably at the very minimum. He's a racist jackass. But this is the thing that bothers me about this whole situation, right? We went on these airwaves, Moose, and praised how the NBA dealt with the Sterling thing.
Yes.
And justifiably so, right? Like,
oh yeah.
How did they drop the ball on this one? How did they shit the bed? Like, if this dude didn't just say, hey, I can't take the heat no more, I'm selling the team. I mean, that's like a gift.
Yes.
Because they didn't do nothing. They slapped him on the wrist and told him not to do it again.
They fined him. Basically, they suspended him for 1 year and fined him $10 million. That was it.
What? Suspend him for 1 year from what?
Well, again,
what?
Basically, he still gets paid. He gets his money.
Right.
He just can't sit courtside.
That's what I'm saying. You took away his courtside seats. That's what you
did. That's all you did.
You did that and you fined him.
Yes.
But he can print money because he owns a team.
Right.
And the team that he bought for $400 million will now sell for $2 billion.
Right.
So he'll leave with a 500% profit, and that's some kind of punishment, right?
Right.
It's a joke.
Well, again, the same
Like,
thing.
I just don't understand how they got it so right with Sterling and then let this one just fall apart with Sarver.
I don't know how that one happened with that. I mean, it's like you figured they would got this one on there. But yeah, I mean, it's basically is the players like, no, he's got to go.
Well, yeah.
Otherwise, you know what? We want to.
Well, you have a league that is what, 90% people of color?
Yes.
And that dude's talking dirty like that?
Yeah.
Like, nah, dude, you got to go. You got to go a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to be white guys screaming racism and all that nonsense, but like we set the standard already. Did we not?
Yes. The standard's been set. Precedent has been set.
Right.
And we've already got that with the whole Donald Sterling issue with that on there.
You know what it is? It goes back to the same shit with the NFL. If you fire me, if you do me dirty out in the public like that, I'll sue you. I'll go to court, and Discovery will let everybody's skeletons out of the closet. And that's why the owners...
Well, that's why Dan Snyder still got a team in Washington in the NFL.
Your boy in the NBA knew he wasn't going to get the 2/3 majority, the 23 teams or whatever he needed, the 23 owners, because homeboy threatened.
Right.
I guarantee it's the same, like you said,
Yeah.
it's the same reason Snyder's still around. That's the song and dance. How else can you explain it?
You can't. I mean, it's only the explanation.
Because they set the precedent. We didn't.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's all set on there. They set everything up with it, and that's what happened. And again, also, too, is Sterling basically, besides being a racist piece of shit, he's a terrible owner.
Oh, yeah, without doubt.
Miserable. I mean,
Yeah. But that wasn't the case here in Phoenix.
No.
And so they were making money. So they were willing to overlook his racism.
And they got to an NBA Finals.
Right. And so they were willing to overlook that racism. See how that shit works?
Yes. And then
Nonsense.
now the players like, no,
Bullshit.
no, we're done.
And they should. They should stand up. And good for them. And you know what? And really, the dude, Sarver bailed out Silver because Silver didn't do dick. And Sarver, he just basically said,
Well, here's a quote by Chris Paul, who added, basically is, of the view of the sanctions fell short of truly addressing what we all can agree on was atrocious behavior.
Thank you.
Place that was like on there. Then Draymond basically says, he starts calling him out, and basically says he took a step further by asking the NBA owners to vote on Sarver's ouster. It's a little belittling to me that we walk into the arena next year and the Phoenix Suns will walk in the arena next year, and he'll sit on the sideline and just will continue playing. So the one thing that I'm going to need is somebody to explain to me is that is okay to get rid of Sterling, but not possible to force Sarver to sell from what we read.
Yeah,
I'm asking, there is a vote, and that's the only way. Then we'll see what those numbers are and see what they really are.
Well, and that's what it boils down to. And Draymond's an idiot, but his point is right.
Spot on.
It's right on.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's kind of what we're saying here. You can't set this precedent of this is what it is and then go somewhere else. And you know what? It's not a hard precedent to set. Let's be real. Like, the bar shouldn't even have to be that high to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, it shouldn't take racism on an epic level caught on tape with people complaining about a bunch of other things for it to come to that. Like, this standard shouldn't be like that. So, you know, it's not a hard precedent to set. So the fact that they could that they just kind of didn't do a whole lot with this, it's frustrating.
So he's bailing them out because he agreed to looking at selling the team. Is what it was.
Right.
We'll let you keep all your money. You sell the team. We'll give you your $10 million back and go from there.
Wow.
But it's
Yuck. Well, as long as he's gone, I think the players will be satisfied. But it's funny because, you know, we've had 2 of these types of things happen just in recent history, and to think that there aren't other people that are like-minded within the league, other owners, is kind of disingenuous. So it's just hope none of these idiots are dumb enough to get their shit on tape, or you know. But I don't know. But anyway,
you got that, and you got stupid play. You got players mouthing off stupidly. You got John Moran saying he can take